morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome back to Abstract Medicine. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for joining with me here this early, crispy morning here with me in Oxfordshire at this time. It is spring, but this morning it's very frosty. So let's begin this reading. As I'm speaking, there's a little blue-tipped bird and another one that's just flown on the electrical wiring just above my window, and it's two of them, and I can't help but think that this is a message. This is a message. So we have joy and curiosity here. It's interesting because I've been a little bit nervous about doing this reading, because I'm going to be channeling a little bit of David Bowie here, because this essentially would be his deck, his tarot deck. I've been charging this deck for about 3 days with my selenite crystal, and I've just been speaking with him, with his spirit, David Bowie's spirit, and this morning just going, should I do it today? Should I do it this morning? I haven't showered yet. Like, I've just got up, I've got my morning coffee here with me. I'm in my robe, and he was just like, just be natural, you're ready. So that's what's going to happen today. Because I was thinking like whether I should wear like some wacky clothes. I've got some wacky clothes, as you know, I'm an artist. And he was like, no, it's fine, just be natural. Just be natural. And there's this other element, before I begin opening this deck, is that there was him inside, the inside David Bowie and the outside David Bowie. The inside David Bowie, what he was like inside at home. And I would imagine he'd also be wearing a robe. And then there was the outside spectacular David Bowie, and that's also important here before I begin, and it's important that I mention it. So the this tarot deck is by Davide De Angelis, Italian descent, Davide De Angelis, and he worked in his father's Italian restaurant in Soho on Old Compton Street, and I believe I know which one it was. It may have been Topo Gigio, and I used to go there as a kid, and with my family. It's no longer there anymore. But yeah, and so he walked in. So David Bowie walked in to his father's restaurant, and he saw Davide sketching on a piece of paper, and David Bowie also sat next to him and sketched along with him, so adding details to his sketches. And 20 years later, he ended up actually collaborating with David Bowie on multiple projects, including his... See, now this is how it's important here, isn't it? Because I mentioned David inside and David outside. He ended up creating the cover for Outside, his album Outside, or Outsider. I think it might be Outsider or Outside. And another cover, which was... which one was it? Was it? We'll find out. I think it may have been... Find out. But anyway, it's a very whimsical cover, and this artist Davide De Angelis is a whimsical artist too. His whole career was devoted to creating work for David Bowie, and after his passing, David Bowie's passing, he found, or even in the transition to his next stage in his life, Davide's life, he found purpose in spiritual work, as a guru, as a teacher, and he speaks about how David Bowie had affected his life. Now, For many of you, you may know that I love David Bowie, like many Brits, but I've always had an affinity with David Bowie because of my mother. So my mother was a model for about 30, 40 years, even after she had me. She continued for another 5, 6 years. And she worked with David Bowie a couple of times in Paris. And he picked her out because she was very beautiful, but she was also one of the very few black models at the time in the 70s. And he asked her, I don't think Mum would mind me sharing this, but he asked her to come with him to London. And at the time, Mum was based in Madrid in Spain, but she worked in Paris a lot. And she was like, "Are there black people in London?" and he was like, "Yeah, there are. We're actually very tolerant. We're very multicultural." And I believe at the time he was living in Brixton in South London. And so yeah, there's lots of Caribbean community, Colombians as well live there, like my mum. And she declined his offer, but I think there's this myth that he was actually in love with her and he wanted to get married to her and all of this stuff. And at the time, Mum did not see his beauty, did not see his charm. I mean, she found him very charming, but she actually said to me, like, he had really bad teeth. And I was like, "Mum, for goodness sakes, it was David Bowie." Like, what are you talking about? And so there's been a running joke in the family, like, imagine if I'd gone to London at that time. Imagine if I had eloped and married David Bowie. David Bowie could have been your father. And it's like, gosh, what is this? Darth Vader and Star Wars scenario? Anyway, I've always had an affinity with him because of that, but also when I was going through my first spiritual awakening, like my major spiritual awakening, which was 2012, I cut my hair off and I had it in a bob and I bleached it. And I went to I think it was in 2013, the year after, I went to the V&A, Victoria and Albert Museum in London in South Kensington, to David Bowie's phenomenal show, which changed my life, completely changed my life. I have the book as well. I still have the book from that show, which I will bring the book in in another reading. So I was just obsessed. And then I remember going to, I was just listening to a lot of his music. I was obsessed with his album Scary Monsters, which I love and I still play in the car with the CD, which Ricardo, my brother, soul brother, teases me about. "You got CDs?" I was like, "Yeah, I got CDs." Anyway, so enough of the chat, but I thought I'd do that little intro for you because I feel like we'll be using this deck a lot. Now, Nikki, Abstract Medicine Community Nikki, Nicola, birth name Nicola, she is a soul sister of mine and she sent me this deck as a birthday present, which is amazing. So thank you so much, Nikki. We're going to unwrap. I've already unboxed it. I've meditated over it already. I've looked at every single card. I've read, most of the book. But let's have a look at it and just see. So we've got this nice little homage to the Dazzle, the lightning bolt that David Bowie is so synonymously or like quintessentially symbolically connected to, is the lightning bolt. And we also have an emoji now with a lightning bolt, isn't it? So which we use. So it opens up like this, which is quite cool, and it says Starman Tarot, and it's by Lo Scarabeo, which I really like. I really like the fact that Davide De Angelis uses a publisher who are Italian, going back to the roots. And I also want to say, like, the first mention of this deck on Abstract Medicine's Instagram page, I tagged Davide De Angelis on that post and he started following me immediately, which for me started following abstract medicine immediately, which for me is a great sign. It's a great sign. I also want to share that I've deactivated my art account. I can't stand it at the moment. I can't stand it. So anyway, I'm going to be focusing on abstract medicine on Instagram as well as Hype A on Instagram. I have a podcast called Hype A, everyone. So for those of you who are wanting to listen to how to get into the arts, whether it's music, whether it's art, painting, whether it's performance, film, movies, fashion, styling, photography, whatever it may be, have a listen to Hype A. We are wrapping up season 3 at this time, and we're going to be recording season 4 very, very shortly. So have a listen to season 3, season 2 and season 1. Very inspirational, amazing inspirational guests that are on Hype A. So have a listen. Hype A is across all podcast platforms, and my guests come from all over the world, or they've worked globally. So they are leaders in the arts. So you may want to have a listen to that, just even for your own curiosity, for the conversation, for the inspiration, but also for that push as well if you need it. So we've got this Starman Tarot, okay, deck. We've got the book. So the book looks like this, which is quite fun. And then it's black. And then in here we have the cards. So as I said, I've actually looked at every single card, starting from the full major arcanas all the way through to the minor arcanas. So I've already shuffled and blessed them. I also want to say that the back of this deck, each card, the reason why Davide De Angelis had created this style for each card is because it's about his sort of connection with the philosophy in Japan, where you heal broken vases and seal them with gold liquid. And so he mentions that. The other thing I want to mention is, let me just see if I can find out what the actual thing is. 1 second. I don't want to show you the cards just yet. I'm going to use them in a reading. 1 second. The alien calligraphy as it appears in the deck and on the back side of the cards, which is here, let me just read here, because I think it might be quite interesting for you. Many of the backdrops for the Starman Tarot cards, which are actually on the cards, the backdrops, okay? So here's a little glimpse. Many of the backdrops for the Starman Tarot cards began life as something completely unrelated and unremarkable, faded photograph of a building, when constantly manipulated by hand and computer, would reveal a magical realm in which to place one of the deck's archetypes. The appropriateness of what was revealed through those seemingly random acts would often appear utterly miraculous to me, a whole new reality sitting behind the world we directly encounter. The extraordinary hidden within the ordinary at times. It became clear to me that the fact that we can change into something else is a form of salvation. Life will, of course, automatically do this, but how much more empowering if we can participate, be the one adding, subtracting, or inverting something in our life to reveal a new form of knowing, doing, being. The cards often express a playful trickster nature, a sky made out of earth, and an earth made from sky in the same card. There are mirror images revealed, something normally hidden. Solid ground is not where you might expect it to be, a play with the elements of water, earth, fire, and air, and how they are expressed through the environments and characters in the deck. Okay? A normally earthy archetype can be found floating in air, yet it may not be what it seems at first glance. This is part of my own nature woven into the cards and the enjoyment of anthropomorphizing the deck, letting it play with me, read me, challenge me. Who is actually creating what? I wanted there to be a natural rebellious joy to this tarot deck, to counterbalance the serious issue it must also traverse. Now, I also want to mention that he's saying he's also an avid tarot reader, like myself, and Davide De Angelis, and he also mentions that in his interactions, in his creative collaborative interactions with David Bowie, he mentions that David Bowie said, you know, what happens at the beginning and what happens at the end. Okay, so it's quite interesting how David Bowie used to think. Let me see if I can find it. And here is the art of kintsugi pottery, which he mentions, and this is also part of it. Okay, I will get into reading the cards in 1 second, but I wanted to show you this intro because I don't think I'll be doing this again. The artwork for the Starman Tarot traverse experimental typography, street art, eroticized sci-fi imagery, influences of Caravaggio and the Renaissance, chaos theory, philosophy, destroyed imagery of punk rock, sacred geometries, and the art of some of the earliest tarot decks such as the Sola Busca. The Starman of this deck and many other characters also pay homage to Jack Burnley's original 1940s superhero Starman. Davide De Angelis talks about making this deck and saying that the tarot had always been with him. Now I feel a resonance with this too because of what I've been creating recently, but also as an artist, as a painter, but also as there are so many similarities within me, you know, with Davide De Angelis and David Bowie, the connection with Caravaggio, the Renaissance, chaos theory, which I also mention in my work as an artist too, philosophy as well. So it's quite interesting how the metaphysics is also incorporated here, and it's quite interesting how there are all these correlations with how I work, what I do as an artist, and just the story, the backstory behind all of this. So if there's anything else that comes through, I will let you know through the cards. I also want to say that this deck was also made in collaboration with Esther De Angelis, who is Davide's wife, who is an avid, like myself, you know, occultist, someone who is very interested in ancient Hebrew, which is Aramaic. She's a visionary artist, a coach, and a facilitator, author, and speaker. She's also an MA fine artist with a formal training in theatre as well. So, a bit like me too. Anyway, enough of that. Let's have a look. Let's now get into it. Yeah, let's now get into it. So let me put this away. Okay, so this is going to be a general reading for the collective. Please note this is a general reading. There will be messages here that will resonate with you at this time or at a later time. If you would like more clarity in your situation or whatever it may be, you will need to book a private reading. So you can do that directly through me. You can go to my website, cristallinafischetti.com, CRISTALLINAFISCHETTI.com. Go to the healing page. There's a page called Healing, and you can book directly there. You may also send me a direct email. A cat's just passed by. You may also send me a direct email on the contact page. and ask me your specific question. Okay, so we're going to be doing the lightning bolt spread. And as we've been speaking about creativity so much, let's have a look at and see how you can catalyze a creative project at this time. Okay, so think about your creativity. You know, so another reason for me deactivating my art account is I just need to get away from all of the junk, all of the spam, all of the rubbish, all of the nonsense. Be able to think clearly, creatively. And this has all happened, me charging this tarot deck, me deactivating my art account, has all happened during this solar eclipse. Now, at the time of this reading, there is a solar eclipse currently closing out, and we're going to be feeling the effects of it for another 2 or 3 days. And it's a new moon in Aries, I believe. A new moon in Aries. So we've also just entered Taurus season. So happy birthday to my Taurians. So think about a creative idea. Now, maybe this is something you're needing to do, is to get off social media, get off Instagram, get off TikTok, so that you may be able to listen to your creative guides for inspiration. Maybe you're needing to be more creative, have a different ritual each morning, rather than just going straight on social media. I mean, this is something I don't do. I tend to read in the morning, and I really like to read the cards. This is my way of meditating. Some people just meditate, sit down and meditate to yoga. I do very, very gentle yoga now because of my wrists. In the morning, I have a cup of coffee and I like to read the cards. That's my way of meditating. And it sort of sets the tone for the day. What's going to be your new ritual during the solar eclipse phase, season? Because we also have another eclipse on the 5th of May. Okay, so think about a creative endeavor. Think about how you can be more creative. What is it that is asking you to be more creative at this time? Okay, so we're going to be doing the creative bolt. So we're going to be doing the creative with the lightning bolt spread. Okay, which I'm kind of excited about. Let me just get this 1 second. Okay, so we're going to be starting with the seed, the lightning catalyst. What is the seed? Let's call in David Bowie for help as well. There's another bird, as I say that, who's just staring at the window. The other thing I want to say is that when David Bowie died, he visited me. And I just moved to LA for officially. And it was in January. And he visited me, and it was very vivid. It's a secret message, but I thought I'd just share that. So let's have a look at the seed. What is the seed? Okay, thank you. Angels, ancestors, guides. So hopefully you can see all of that. Just make sure that as I'm looking, that my hair doesn't get burnt. Okay. All right. So that's the seed. Let's now have a look at the vision for your creative idea, your creative project. What is the creative vision, creative project? Okay, so you've got 2. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be, this is going to be the seed. This is the seed. This is the vision. This is going to be the heart. Yeah, I don't know if it's actually going to fit, to be honest. Okay. And the powerful urge. What is the powerful urge? number 4, which is over here, and the ultimate manifestation. Okay, nice and clear. All right, so let me just arrange the video and I'll be back 1 second. Okay, everyone, so as you can see here is the lightning bolt. All right, so let's have a look at the seed of your creative project. Okay, so the lightning is a complex multi-stage process, a symbol of light striking through ignorance, a bolt of electric magic that conducts energy from space to earth. It epitomizes the epiphany, an awakening, or something stunning and new, channeling an entirely fresh array of colors and meanings within the spectrum of your reality. Use the lightning bolt spread, which we're going to do today, to ignite a new project or phase in your life. Allow it to show you the unexpected and spark a new exterior and interior territory. Now remember, at the very beginning we spoke about inside and outside, so I feel like that's going to be very significant for you at this time. The idea of inside and outside, the interior territory and the outer territory, the inner reflection and the outer reflection. What reflection are you giving out, okay? And what reflection are you being asked to look at, creatively speaking, okay? This could also be in your appearance, what you wear, what you do. It's about the inside outside. I feel like it's about this dichotomy between both of them. Okay, so let's have a look at the seed. Okay, the lightning catalyst, the spark that ignites and sets the project and life force in motion. So the seed is, we have the 9 of Swords. So a lot of you, hopefully you can see all of that. Let me just check. A lot of you are going to be creating from a place of hardship. You know, some of the best songs, some of the best art in the world is created by and from difficult circumstances, heartbreak, anxiety, worries, concerns. And these concerns, these worries can turn into beautiful art. Now, we have here a typewriter. We've got lots of swords, you know, nightmarish situations with spiders and witches, hooded, cloaked individuals as well. Here's the typewriter, here's the witch, spiders. And he also had this band, he had a group, didn't he? Spiders from Mars. So that's quite interesting how this is here. And we have this kind of impending doom energy with all of this wood that's almost going to be falling on this individual here, who's just kind of overwhelmed, essentially. So how can you create something? The spider is also the symbol of abundance and creativity, and we have a spider web just here. How can you create something beautiful out of something difficult? It's almost the energy of catharsis here. It's the energy of catharsis, so working through your feelings, healing, going through the tunnel of pain. Now, this is also a shamanic ritual where you sit in a cave for 3 days, kind of like I've been during the eclipse. The energy of just kind of like riding the emotions, riding the waves of that pain. Some people let it out creatively immediately, but it's kind of the energy of like working through your pains in a way that you're able to bring light to it somehow. And this is the seed here, and this is the seed for creativity at this time. So it's actually communicating this pain, talking about this pain, writing about this pain, painting about this pain, speaking about it, acting it out even. You know, this is a very dramatic card. This can also talk about drama as well. So theatre, drama. So we have this energy here that is being spoken about through spirit with David Bowie in mind as well. Thank you, David. Call me Uncle David, he says. That's interesting. Weird, but fine. It's funny because I remember I also I did a vision quest with him once, and a few years ago, with David Bowie a few years ago, and I asked him a few questions, and he said to me, in spirit, he said to me, "You'd fit very well in our family," and that meant a lot to me. You know, it just meant that, you know, I'm part of his tribe in the alien galactic world, and everything that he said was real. You know, everything that he said was true about Mars, about space, about alien invasions, possibly, about an ulterior world. And this, you know, the very thing that scares you, the very thing that scares us, what he's saying, is the very seed that sparks creativity. Now, this is the lightning bolt spread, so we're talking about sparks and it's an inspiration as well. So the very thing that could be nightmarish can be turned into very, I'm hearing great rock and roll. You know, this is rock and roll, you know? So that's awesome. Let's have a look at the vision expressed. So the vision expressed, a new possibility and service to the world is authentically declared the creative vehicle for the potent message. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's have a look at the vision expressed, okay? Okay, there it is. The vision expressed, we have the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so here's the Five of Pentacles. I just heard by decree. Okay, so I'm hearing someone who, I'm seeing someone and I'm hearing someone who is a town crier, and they've opened up a scroll and they're ringing a bell and they're saying by decree this, that. Okay, so as you know, I read the cards. I'm a cartomancy reader. I'm also clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient. I'm a very strong psychic, essentially. So the messages come to me in many different ways, not just through the cards, not just through the physical. I also am very intuitive as well. And remember, I'm an artist, so I see other symbols that some others may not be able to see. So I just want to keep that in mind for those of you who are new to this channel. And thank you also for following Abstract Medicine on Instagram, abstract_medicine on Instagram, and for subscribing to Abstract Medicine here on YouTube, and liking, pressing the like button and following this channel. It really does make a difference, and I know I shouldn't always have to ask you, but it really does make a difference to the channel, and it just gets the message out there more, so more people can see and listen to these wonderful readings, wonderful videos. So thank you also for sharing this video to someone who really needs to hear it, someone who's a bit of a Bowie fan as well, or someone who needs that creative guidance too. There's going to be more videos like this. I'm going to be using these cards more often as well. So we have the Five of Pentacles here. So the vision is one of my enemies. One of the things I don't like are roaches. So we have roaches here. We've got snake, a rat, some bones, something. So they're in dire poverty. I just heard Dire Straits, the band. So they're in dire poverty. They're sort of financially unstable. They're financially stricken here. But this is about the vision. This is about the vision here. So how you can get that lightning strike of through ignorance for your creativity, channeling your creativity, is to express your vision, to express the dire straits of this world, of humanity. You can talk about, you can paint about it, you can, you know, just like Shakespeare has really studied the human condition all the way through to all of the colours of the rainbow, let's say, of all of the emotions, all of the circumstances that a human being can experience. You know, racism with Shylock in The Merchant of Venice, star-crossed love with Romeo and Juliet, witchcraft through Macbeth, jealousy as well, anger, pain, rage, Henry IV, Henry V, Richard III, feeling like an outcast, an outsider. Richard III is a strong one too. And so Shakespeare was very good with that, and what is being said and expressed here is to have a vision, to express the pains of this world, how some people, I'm hearing the haves and have-nots, how some people have benefit and some people just have bad luck. You know, this isn't just about losing money at a lottery machine or something like that. This is about actually people have really bad luck in this world. And this is about the philanthropist here. So how can you be a philanthropist? You know, philo, love, anthro, I believe anthro is mankind in Greek. So how can you have a love of mankind while also, you know, praising them, praising humans, elevating? You know, this is, again, it's the inside, the outside. How can you talk about, speak about, create, express in your visions, in your creativity, about the injustices of this world, about how things have to change, where people are given money or come into money in a way that's very easy, that they shouldn't. I'm hearing, basically, it's about injustices. It's not about, you know, you work hard and you, of course, deserve that pay. It's about people that shouldn't be getting paid for crimes against humanity, I'm hearing. Okay, so these are people who are just not good people. A lot of those people who I've spoken about on this channel many times are those who pretend to be good people. The Clintons, the Bill Gates of this world, they all call themselves philanthropists, but they're evil motherfuckers. I have to say it like that because that's just how it's being expressed here. So how can you highlight and cut through the BS, I'm hearing, cut through the bullshit, okay, as a lightning bolt, and talk about this in a creative way? Express this through painting, through music, through art, of any kind that you wish to. You know, these are people that don't have good hearts, okay? These are people who don't want people to be healed through medicine. I'm not talking about conspiracy theory, I'm talking about facts here. So do your own research about this. People who claim to be philanthropists and are actually not, who cage people into a way of thinking. This is also talking about Plato's cave here. So Plato had this, spoke about this idea, this philosophy about how people have been living in a cave for so long and they see these shadows that are bouncing back from the fire, the light of the fire, onto the caves. And there are illusions, you know, they see these imagery, shadows on the cave walls, and they believe that to be their reality until one person leaves the cave and sees a completely new world and sees, well, this reflection, again, remember I talked about, this is channeling here, inside, outside, yes, how you come out of the cave and you see that your reality and what's being reflected outside. Remember, our eyes are cameras, okay? Our eyes are cameras. We have reflectors. Okay, so remember when you studied biology and basic biology and about the eye, camera obscura, the eye and how it, you know, has an upside down effect, and then it's reflected back, and then what's being projected is then finally upright again. It's all about that, how the eye. Now, this is something else that's coming through here. David Bowie spoke about the eye is the center. Was that a lyric? I think he's saying yes. There's something here in what I'm saying here which is important. The eye is the center. Now, I think that's from a song. He's saying it's from a lyric. Okay, I will find that in 1 second, but it's about reflections here. So how can you visually express injustice? How can you visually express poverty? How can you visually express the idea of how some people have it good and some people don't? And you can do this in a creative way. Now, as creatives, your right is to express that outwardly. You know, having a creative gift isn't about holding it inside. It's about expressing it outwardly, outside. Remember, inside, outside is the theme for this reading, okay? So I found out the meaning of the center of the eye situation. It is a lyric, and I paused the video to have a look and see what that was all about, because whatever comes through is necessary, is important in the channeling. So remember, David Bowie's last album was Black Star, and his new character that he created was this Lazarus character. Okay, so Lazarus rose from the dead, remember, in the Bible. Now, some people thought that this lyric was satanic. Now, there was something else I wanted to talk about before, with the lightning bolt and the covering of one eye. Now, there is a lot of that in the Illuminati symbols as well. Anyway, but I will just say that here we have an eye, and we have an eye here. Okay, we have an eye here, and we have an eye there. One eye. Now, in Black Star, his lyric is in the city of Ormen, at the center of it all, your eyes. And it's also very disharmonious as well. The tune, like, it's not harmonious, it's disharmonious. At the center of it all, at the center of it all. Yeah, so this character that he created called Lazarus, he covers his eyes with bandages, and he has these like two black beads essentially where the eyes are. And again, it's the energy. Again, this message today for this reading is all about inside, outside. So creatively speaking, not just on appearances. I'm not here as a reader, as an artist, just to talk about superficial things. If you know me well personally, and you know my work, and you know the work that I do as an artist and as a healer and as a podcaster, I go very deep. I have very, very strong Mars placements, interestingly, spiders from Mars, but also Mars Scorpio. In Vedic astrology, I would be classified as a Nakshastra Scorpio personality. Okay, so I go very deep, and there's lots of transformation that takes place. So my moon sign would be Jyeshta, which is Scorpio. Okay. And then my sun sign would be Aquarius in Vedic astrology, which makes a lot of sense. David Bowie also had a strong Aquarius placement in Western astrology. Now, Western and Indian astrology, Vedic astrology are very different. What's it called? In Vedic astrology is, let's say, more detailed, more specific, because there are 28 different phases according to the moon cycle. There's also strong focus on the moon as a planet, as well as Jupiter. Okay, so you may want to look into that. I am studying it at this time. It's kind of like doing a degree. It takes like 3 years to study something, like I did with the tarot, and I'd like to offer it for you all here on Abstract Medicine as a service, for more clarity. But anyway, here I see that there is something about the inside and the inside of essentially going blind on what you're seeing outside, what's going on outside. Maybe there's a need to be blinded. Maybe there's a need to cut off distractions. Maybe social media might be a cut-off point for you in order for you to go deeper into your creative vision questing, essentially. So the vision that you're going to be expressing is, vision, visuale, vision is the eye. We're talking about the eye here. This is an important element of this reading, this card in particular, in this placement, because we're talking about the inside, the outside, what is being perceived, what is being reflected, what is being understood as fact and what is being not understood as fact, what is being seen as real and what is being seen as false. Plato's cave, philanthropy, false philanthropies, false prophets here. Now, Lazarus rose from the dead. David Bowie's Black Star album was about him essentially moving on to the next stage of his life, you know, because life continues outside of the physical body. So we are all human beings experiencing a physical world, but we are all spiritual beings. Okay, so there's something here about that, about your vision has been blinded, I feel, like mine. You know, our visions have been blinded. So in order for you to focus on your creative, to catalyze a creative project, you need to essentially focus on the vision that's being expressed, which is the true vision. And for some of you, you may need to go through karmic transformative cycles. Some of you are needing to go through a healing process that's going to be very difficult. Okay, the Five of Pentacles typically is about losing people. This could even be losing followers, losing money, you know, losing, I just heard integrity. Some of you may have been shamed, you know, may have come out of a relationship that was very painful, toxic even, possibly for some of you. And what you're creating in your vision is going to be a better and brighter world. And it's not about having an illusion, about having, you know, being disillusioned or being a bit, let's say, out of touch with reality. Aquarius energy here is coming out strong, where you're being detached, aloof, but also Virgo energy is coming in strong here with Pentacles energy, which is earth. And the Virgo energy of the Hermit is coming in through here, where you're going up to that mountain, you're going into that cave, you're detaching for a bit, you're finding spiritual understanding, you're finding solace, and you're taking a little time out to appreciate some peace and quiet. And maybe that's needed here. Okay, now let's move on. Thank you, David Bowie, for those messages, very deep. Also shout out to his Black Star album. That album came out a few days before he died, which is interesting. Okay, so I remember listening to the album. I was just like, I think it was like 2 weeks even before he died. I remember listening to the album and I was just like in awe of it. Now, the symbol of that is the star, and it's a black star. Now, black stars, you know, a star that we see in the sky is already like 10,000 years old, dead. It's already dead. So again, it's like what we see, what we perceive is not always reality. It's not always truth. And black stars, from what I remember in physics, would be, I mean, I guess the color, I mean, I get black isn't really a color, but because there's no light coming through, but it's the energy of complete darkness. You know, what I'm picking up on is the energy of complete darkness, of complete loss. You've really come to the end of knowing. I'm hearing you're coming to the end of knowing. So some of you may be completely rebranding. Your vision for your expressions, for your creativity is now at the end of knowing and at the beginning of a new stage of knowing. The end of understanding and the beginning of a new way of understanding. Okay, so what you used to do before, you may not be doing again. This is maybe reinventing your own personality, reinventing a character here. Like Lazarus, like Ziggy Stardust, you know, like the Thin White Duke, like all of these characters that David Bowie created, which have, by the way, incredibly occult and esoteric symbolism outside of just, here's flashy, da-da-da. There's actually so much, and he was really into the occult, by the way. David Bowie was into the occult. So appearances can be deceiving, I'm hearing, okay? And that's why he said it's okay if you channel in your white robe, because you are in your home. You are in a place of comfort. You don't have to be performing. You don't have to perform. And I think that's the thing, is like, I was kind of like talking with him telepathically the other day, and I was like, it's been a while, actually. It's been a while since I've been wanting to get off Instagram on my art page. And I just feel like, would David Bowie be on this? And he was like, no. No, he'd probably have someone, which he does already. He has a brand, you know, that people represent what he does. And and what he did. And this is what I want. You know, I don't want to be on it at all. I love being on it for abstract medicine on Instagram. I love to promote the podcast, but I don't want to be on Instagram as an artist. I want someone else to be doing that for me. You know, it's just too much nonsense. And to have to constantly block and, you know, block spam and report people, it's really time consuming for me. And it takes a little bit of dignity out of me as well. It sort of like, it's the energy of robots, you know, an alien. And I don't mean it in a good way, because I believe in the outside worlds and other worlds, other sentient beings. And I think all of what I'm saying is not just rambling. It's all connected. It's all interconnected, and it's all intra-connected. Everything that I'm saying here is all inter and intra-connected with your own experiences, whether it's going to be now or later on, or you've already experienced it before. Now, we're all losing a little bit of our dignity and a little bit of our humanity when we go online on social media. We're giving away our energy and our power a little bit. And this can cause some anxiety. I don't know why social media is the Nine of Swords card for some readers too. And it can cause anxiety, you know, constantly having to perform, comparison. It's quite interesting. I listened to this podcast with Rich Roll yesterday. And Rich Roll, he's quite cool. Listen to his podcast. Who was he talking with? I was talking to a clinician, psychologist, who focuses and specializes on teenage psychology. And, you know, he was talking about that, how, you know, he himself compares himself to other fathers, other super dads. But, you know, those super dads that are performing online may not necessarily, you know, everyone's got their shit to bear. Everyone's got their cross to bear. Everyone's dealing through things, going through things. There's no such thing as a super dad or a super mum. You know, it's one window, it's one aspect, it's one cave that's being a reflection, that's being reflected. And what's beyond the cave, what's inside the cave, what's outside the cave is another reality that not everyone has privy to, I'm hearing. Now let's move on. Thank you, David Bowie. Thank you for all of these messages, because I feel like you need to hear that for some of you. You know, you don't compare yourself. And I know it's easier said than done, but just don't. Social media is not my career is not truly reflected on my Instagram art page. It's just not. My accolades, the experiences I've had, the awards I've had, it's just not reflected at all. My website is, but it's just not reflected on my Instagram page. Okay, so anyway, let's have a look at the heart. The heart, the strike of love that awakens the deep healing potential and connection that is possible through this process. So we're going to look at the heart now. Amazing. We're talking about fathers, we're talking about super dads, and we have the Emperor. We're talking about a brand here as well. So in the heart of the matter, the heart is the boss, the Emperor, the father, the masculine energy. The energy of someone who's in control, who's organized and is in control of their vision. We're talking about creativity here. Now, some of you are needing to be a bit stern as well. Now, I spoke about, you know, deactivating my account. Maybe this is about having control over what is being projected, what is being seen, inside, outside. Remember, inside, outside is the theme here. Okay. Now, for many men, who have been taught to be stoic, to not show emotions, to not express emotions, this would be speaking to you, where your heart is needing to open up a little bit. Now, I don't know if you can see, but here there's a vision of a spirit here. To me, this is a female. To me, this is a female. So can you see how there's a cave here? And here we have the Emperor right there. There's a cave. So but in the heart space, it's releasing and revealing your most empathic and feminine, nurturing energy. Okay, so for those of you who are very much in control of your emotions, particularly if you are air signs, Aquarius energy, Gemini energy, Libra energy, you can come across as quite detached. Now, there's no shade here because I have strong Aquarius placements too. As I mentioned, in my Vedic astrology, my sun sign would be Aquarius, and I have a ruling planet Mercury as my strong planet. So I totally understand. So there's this feeling of like being detached, but how can you express creatively what's going on within your heart space while still maintaining control of your own business and your finances, I'm hearing. So in the heart space, there is a need to release your arms, release your tension. For some of you, to be quite frank with you, is to open up your spiritual gaze and open up your spiritual capacities. And you're still a man if you cry, and you're still a man if you are nurturing, and you're still a man if you are openly expressive and creative and still manly if you release a little bit of tension. Now, this is what this card is saying, and what spirit is coming to me, sharing with me. Okay. Now, the Emperor is also being asked to come out of their kingdom, their empire, for a while, to come out of the cave for a while, to see that not everything that they have been creating in the physical world has been of truth, of facts. Maybe what they've been creating in the physical world, in their cave, has been a world of illusions. So I feel like for some of you in your heart space, you're knowing that you may be going through a spiritual awakening at this time. And it may be because there may have been a female in spirit who is in your heart space who has awoken something within you. So I see that here, that you have been awakened somehow by tapping into your feminine urge. And this makes you more manly. That makes you more attractive. That makes you more sexy, I'm hearing. It's not about being new age, but it's about tapping into the balance of your feminine and your masculine. Now, remember, David Bowie was bisexual. And it's quite interesting, in one of his speeches many years ago, I think it was in the 70s, I think after he did Crack Actor, the film, docu film, which I love, he says in one of his speeches to the audience, he says, "Ladies, gentlemen, and others." And there's this pause, and then suddenly there's like applause, because even back then he knew that there was an in-between stage of genders, you know, an in-between of others, of LGBT. Now we categorize them as LGBTQ plus, you know, lesbian, gay, bisexual, queer, trans, and other, you know, and those who don't want to be defined and identified. So he was future thinking, and he was coming outside of, in his heart space, he knew that the world that was was reflected within and around him was not the world that he was seeing. And again, this is kind of alien energy of like coming out and stepping out of your comfort zone, stepping out of your physical arena, stepping out of your physical reality and your projections. Your projections can also be your indoctrinations. Your projections could also be your teachings, how you've been taught. Your projections can also be your ideology. So stepping out of your ideology, stepping out of your indoctrination, stepping out of your education can help you understand humanity better. Okay, so this is about that, but it's also about being more creative. So creativity is about stepping out of the box. You know, it's not about conforming, it's about stepping out of the box. and coming out of your cave. So in your heart space, you're being asked to do that. And you know that within you, that something needs to change, because your heart will never deny you. Now remember, there is a difference between heart and anxiety and ego. Now I feel like this is your true intuition that's coming through here, where you're being asked to pay attention to your intuition, your heart. Okay, beautiful, gentle energy here. Now, let's see what else creatively we're going to be looking at. Creatively, for your creative project, or how you're going to be seeing the world in a creative, new, different way, is the powerful urge. So the energy, the devotion and enthusiasm required to harness resources and propel the project forward. So this could be a project, this can be your appearance, this could be your brand, this can be your expression. Take it as it resonates. Could be a project, could be whatever it can be. Could be how you see the world, just generally speaking, creatively. So make this reading how you see fit for yourself. Okay, this is a general reading. All right, my loves. So if this reading does resonate with you, please do press the like button. Please also share this video to people who want to hear it. And please subscribe to the channel, Abstract Medicine. Thank you. So your powerful urge is the Seven of Wands. So in your powerful urge, we have you defending your honor. We have you combating people, you know, fighting off, I just heard fighting off gangsters, fighting off people who are jealous. One's energy can be a lot of fire, you know. There can be some challenges along the way. There can be competition, but you're needing to protect your integrity and to be perseverant here. That's what the Seven of Wands is talking about, is perseverance and fighting off evil, fighting off people who are jealous, as I said before. Now, the Seven of Wands here, we have someone who's standing on one foot, kind of doing a sort of martial arts move here. And we have these wands, you know, these lightning wands that are kind of projecting. Now, this can be people who are telling you and projecting their own, as I said before, ideologies, their creative abilities onto you, and you don't understand that because you don't fit well with their projections. So you fight them off. Now, this can be fighting them off energetically, you know, fighting off the evil eye potentially as well. Combating, being perseverant, fighting off nasty energies here. And I feel like that's kind of short and sweet, this card. This is your powerful urge, but I also feel like this is your power stance, is where you're feeling in control of your creative endeavors, because you're not being, no matter what people project onto you, you are not being persuaded, and you're not losing your balance here. You're also not losing your cool, like the Emperor here. The Emperor is cool and stoic and observant and in control of their emotions, remember. But the Emperor is also being asked to open up their heart. So you can still be stoic, you can still be in control, but it's also being integral with your word and also being true with your heart here. So whatever that may be, let that sink in. Okay? Now, when you're in this energy of fight, it can be very draining. It can be exhausting. So ask yourself, are you giving your power away here to people, to places, to things, to people's projections of you, to people's jealousy, to people's why are you trying to prove a point to people? Why are you trying to prove a point that you don't agree? Just move away from them. I feel like there's a need to move away from these energies because it's draining your energy, draining your creative resources. Now, the Wands energy is creativity. The minor arcana starts with the Wands suit, the suit of Wands. It's a spark of life. It's the creative spark that starts life, that begins life. So if you're starting something where you're having to fight off people, then think, why are you doing that? That's what I'm hearing. Think, why are you doing that? Why do you feel the need to do that? Just don't be around those people. Move on. Detach. Detach. There was also something else that I'm picking up on here with martial arts, is the energy of like like accumulating, but also harnessing the power of fire. Now, fire can destroy, but it also can create. Fire is a very masculine energy. You may have strong Mars fire aspects, placements, Leo possibly as well. So the sun, Leo, could be strong as well. Now, Leo energy can also be the center of attention. Now, the sun can be quite an egoic. The sun placement, if you have strong sun placements in your natal chart, you have a look for yourself, or you can just send me a message and I can do this for free for you. Let me know your date of birth, your time of birth, and your location of birth, and I can do that for free. It can be very egoic. And again, this isn't about just you and about your performativeness. It's about how can you be of service to others. Now, a little bit of integrity is needed here, and a little bit of humility is needed here. Okay? Do share and express your power, though. Do share and express your creative power. That's important. There is that aspect, but there's the other thing of, are you giving your power away? Now, lastly, we're going to be ending with your ultimate manifestation. So the unique essence, energy, and specific form that heralds its birth into the world. Okay, so your ultimate manifestation is the Queen of Cups. Beautiful, wonderful energy. So your ultimate manifestation for some of you is a divine feminine energy, as a person who could have very strong water placements, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. But it's also the energy of new birth here. The energy of creativity with the cups. The energy of empathy. Empathy, sympathy, compassion, and patience. Okay. Now, your ultimate manifestation is... Can you see how there's this woman here and she's got a lightning bolt around her root chakra here, on her root chakra? We also have television here. We have a Jesus character coming out of the cup, spirit. So I see here that there is that creative spark that is being birthed here. Breaking down programs, breaking down illusions. And that's what you're manifesting. You're owning your sexuality. You're owning your power. You're owning your vision. You are owning your yoni. Your yoni isn't just the feminine sexual organs, by the way. When you study Vedic astrology and you study Tantra, yoni can also symbolize your sexual organs, no matter what gender you ask yourself to be, or you say yourself to be. Okay? The yoni and lingam. Okay, so we have compassion and we have an opening up of a new program, because we have a television here. We have a new program. I also just heard video killed the radio star. Now, video can kill the radio star. Just like social media can kill the creative. Now, this has been what it's all about. We've been talking about that, about social media. We've been talking about illusions. We've been talking about inside and outside. Ulterior motives, potentially. Illusions, delusions, fact and truth. And we have this feminine, this female, this woman who, after deep sexual passion, has created a new program, a new reality, has given birth or is about to give birth to a new paradigm, essentially. And we have the uterus just here as a symbol. For some of you, you may be able to see that right here. And this tree of life, they're very Kabbalistic, these cards. Now that's what you're manifesting, and it's in the manifestation placement. So again, we have this energy of you are manifesting a new world. I want to have a read of this before we close out. Okay, so let's have a look at the Queen of Cups. I've really enjoyed reading for you. If you'd like a private reading with me, you can book a reading with me. My sessions are open at this time. Let's see if I can actually find Ace of Cups, 3 of Cups, 5 of Cups. Now, as you know, for those of you who've been following me on abstract medicine for quite some time, you will know I find it very difficult to find the right page. I don't know why that is, but it's always tricky with me. Okay, let me present you this card and I'll read for you. I am a conduit for powerful love. Sensual, dynamic, healer, intuitive, sexual and otherworldly. The Queen of Cups demonstrates your gift of emotional intelligence, a rich empathy, creativity and understanding. Creating this card was a truly joyful experience, says Davide De Angelis. This archetype resounded so richly in my mind, symbolizing the possibility of life brimming with a magical energy. We have simply forgotten how to see and experience it. I wanted to bring out the animistic nature of this Queen card. Animism comes from the Latin word anima, or breath, spirit, or soul. This belief system holds that objects, places, and creatures possess a distinct spiritual essence. Even words can be infused with spirit. We see the old broken TV in the card releasing a spirit into the waiting cup, as an ibis woman reaches for it in reverence. This refers to the Egyptian belief where birds had a special magical power. Flight, the possible source of our image of winged spirits, angels. The entire environment of this card is vibrantly alive and interactive. Sticks become tiny Alberto Giacometti beings, busying themselves around the Queen. An idea replicated in children's stories such as Pinocchio, where the wooden puppet eventually turns into a fully fledged human boy. Again and again, we see life, consciousness, emanating from mere wood or metal. Little glass girls in fairy tales, toys coming to life when adults leave the room. In this context, we can fully accept the life in normally inanimate objects. Yet we forget that the chair we sit on is made from the same energy as us. All life springs from the same source and is animated by the same energy. Animism is a theme which draws me throughout this tarot deck. The idea of ordinary things becoming conduits of the miraculous plays out strongly in this card. The extraordinary in the ordinary. We are all, in fact, miraculous forms of technology, spirit technology. The fact that, as yet, science still has no idea of why we possess consciousness tells us that life is so much more mysterious than we can possibly imagine. To connect with the wonder of your own existence is the path back home. The Queen of Cups is therefore concerned with matters of the heart. It signals acceptance and a rich empathy and understanding of the nature of things. To feel your inherent empathy with your fellow creatures, to be emotionally intelligent and fully expressed, unashamed of what your imagination is capable of conjuring. There is much to be gained from listening deeply within, giving credence to the dreaming world and being a bridge between the two. Open to sensuality, seeker of desires and potent pleasures, rich empathy, creativity and understanding. So those were the messages for you all. And we have the Dreams of Gaia Tarot deck as well, which I think would be a really nice complement to this deck. I won't be using it in this reading, but I will be in a next reading. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you'd like to tip me, you can tip me. There's 3 tip jars on my healing page on my website, cristallinafischetti.com. You can tip me there, or you can tip me through PayPal if you like. Please do press the like button as an exchange of your energy of giving thanks for me giving my energy to you. Give thanks to David Bowie for being channeled today. Thank you, Spirit, angels, ancestors, guides as well for your loving warmth and your messages. Thank you, Abstract Medicine Collective, as well for listening, tuning into this video, sharing it far and wide. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.